Okay, we continue our session. It's the second last session with a very big company from France called EDF. And there are two really cool guys representing EDF, Philippe Ringenbach, the corporate venture capital guy, and Pascal Rioual, the open innovation guy. And they make a joint presentation for you, which is very innovative, of course. Welcome to Ecosummit, and thank you very much for being here. And here's your clicker that you can share.
Okay. So thank you, Ian, for hosting us in that wonderful event, just like usual. And thank you to give you the opportunity to show what EDF is doing, is intending to do in open innovation. And also, we're going to try to show you that EDF, even if we are a pretty old lady, we are still open-minded, and we try to get younger and younger again. So just a few words maybe about EDF, but I'm not going to spend too much time on that. I hope you know EDF. EDF is about the third largest utility in the world. We are active in more than 30 countries. We are present all over the value chain on electricity supply, from generation, both traditional, like nuclear, but also a lot of renewables. We are present in transmission, distribution, and we have a very large customer base. And we have also very, very strong R&D capability with more than 2,000 people dedicated to the R&D. So in what kind of world do we live now in terms of energy? We are living in a world that changed a lot. Maybe not too much or too rapidly from a VC point of view, but maybe too rapidly from a utility or at least a classical utility point of view. But anyway, it's changing because the world is facing necessarily the energy transition. And for us, EDF, we think definitely that clean tech startups are key vector for energy transition. Why? Because they can think out of the box. Sometimes this is not what we're doing in EDF or in big corporates. So they can think of new technologies, new services, new business models. They can push to create new opportunities, but also new threats for big players like us, and notably through the convergence between IT, telecom, and energy. They go fast. They can go fast and faster than big players. We have here some examples, but we have a lot of examples to show that we're not speaking only of theory, but there is a lot of also flow in terms of clean tech financing, which is pretty interesting. So, as a big player, EDF, we are actually a big player. What should we do? We have two kinds of positions. The first one could be to try to keep the world as it is now, not moving, sit on that. Definitely, this is not what we want to do. We want to help the energy transition. We want to be an actor of that. And we think that helping startups will boost the entire ecosystem, energy ecosystem. So it's not for your blue eyes. I mean, it's just because we think that it could be a key development plan for EDF. Being an actor of things that moving will keep us, will help us keep our leadership. So how can we help startups? Because obviously they need a lot of things. They need two things, because clean tech is obviously very challenging. Very long development cycle and a lot of cash expenditures needed. So you guys from startups, you need money to sustain your growth. And also, we think you need for industrial partners to share the risks of development. And we think it's key in clean tech, and this is where we can play a role. So we didn't have, until 2012, any kind of instrument to work with startups. So EDF decided in mid-2012 to set up an important scheme, open innovation scheme, at group level. So it means involving all the business units in the world, involving the R&D, involving the financial division, considering the investment funds, and also the strategic division. And we're going to speak about two major building blocks of this open innovation scheme. One is the open innovation team within EDF, working a lot with business unit teams, and Electranova Capital, which is the venture arm of EDF.
In order to face this challenge, like every big utilities, we have made an open innovation team, as said Philippe. I think when we are speaking about open innovation, in fact, you have two directions. You have to stay your eyes outside the group in order to find the innovation, and we will speak about fund, we will speak about external sourcing, and we have to look in the group EDF in order to introduce new innovative methodology in order to impulse internal innovation. And it's a big job too, and there is really the two parts, and we have the four axes. I leave the speech to Philippe for Electranova.
So Electranova in a nutshell, I would say that typically we are an 80 million plus million fund in terms of capacity of investment. We decided not to do it by ourselves, not to do it alone, I mean. So we decided to partner with a leading private equity firm in Europe, which is called Idinvest Partners. We have 3 years of common living today, and we are still in the honeymoon, so it's great. We are a standard LPGP fund. So we have 3 key investors. We have EDF, which is the key corporate industrial investors, but we have also 2 financial institutions which are around the table with us and bring some money, and they're waiting for financial returns, BPI France and Allianz. So we focus on Europe mainly, but US and Israel is also of our playing fields. So if I can give you 3 highlights that can, I would say, tell you what is our DNA. It's definitely we promote industrial and commercial partnership with EDF because we think it's the best way to accelerate the growth of the companies of the portfolio. But it's not exclusive with EDF. We can do with others. We are really open to that. It should be a win-win position, both for the startups and EDF, definitely. And we have the full support of EDF R&D. Very interesting. We leverage on both the capabilities of EDF and Idinvest. EDF brings its technological expertise. We bring our corporate and industrial view, but we are not good historically speaking, with dealing with small startups. So Idinvest is used to that. They have been involved in IT and clean tech for a long time, and they know how to support the growth of these kind of companies. And at last, we support really cross-border development. Typically, this could be investment in the US, bringing back to Europe, and to help develop the business of this company with EDF in Europe. Or we can help the companies of our portfolio from US or from Europe to extend in Asia, because leveraging on both footprint of EDF and Idinvest, we have a lot of people over there that can work. I'm rushing. 7 investments so far. I can say that, to sum it up, all have either an ongoing partnership with EDF or they are on their way to have this one. So our typical playground is clean tech energy. We invested in generation, wind, renewable generation, with 2 companies called Leosphere and Citor. I'm not going to give you details about this company. If you are interested, come into our website or just ask me at the break. We invested also in smart grid and storage, Sunfire, German company, very well known. We like them very much. We like all the companies of our portfolio, so definitely we are not objective. Actility, French-based company on IoT, 4C, also working on storage, battery management system. We have invested in energy efficiency, Enlighted, US-based company working on smart lighting, and we also invested in a French company working on energy transition building materials. We both invest in new technologies, but we are looking for digital, Internet of Things, obviously, and new services, because this is the kind of things that utilities are very interested in. Just an example, and I give you the world after. Examples are much better than theory. C-Tower, the first company in which we invested in mid-2012. It's a Norwegian company which has developed a concept of gravity-based foundation for offshore wind turbines. When we invested in summer 2012, this was only a concept, a 3D movie of, okay, this is what we want to do, and do we sign up or not? To be honest, when we wanted to do that investment, EDF was not so interested in. It was not on their, let's say, time horizon for discussion of technology. They were focusing on something else. And we decided to invest. So just to say that we are not obliged to have a sign-up from EDF to invest in companies. We do what we want to do as a pure VC fund. And we invested in. 2 years later, you have the picture in the center. The first prototype, I would say not it's a prototype, it's a really first industrial pre-series prototype, was built by a consortium led by C-Tower with other big counterparties like Eiffage in France, the building. And the client is EDF Renewables. And I can tell you that we spent a lot of time doing that, go-between with corporates, with the startup, trying to make all that fit in the budget of EDF. So it was really, really, really interesting, a lot of time, but definitely the result is here. And February 2015, the launch in Le Havre, the prototype has been put in DC, has been towed in the site in Fécamp, which is on the French seaside, and has been sunk on the sea base, and now it's working. So this is what I say in terms of typical win-win position. EDF has access to technology, new innovative technology. That works. If EDF would use it for one of its wind farm, future wind farm, that could save 40 or 50 million euros in terms of OPEX. This is more than EDF put in the fund, just to say that. Obviously, C-Tower has its first prototype, so they have proved that they are working. They can be operational for a call for tender now for big wind farms. And as a VC, Electranova, obviously the company is much more valued right now. So this is the example. I could do the same with Sunfire, but I have no time to do that. But I think we will speak of that later.
So it was a good success story, I think, explaining something concrete. And before coming to success story on investment from Electranova, we are looking from external sourcing. In the team, in the open innovation team from EDF, we try to source a lot of startup and detect the startup, qualifying the startup, find the people in the business unit who want to hear something about the innovation we have found, and try to understand in the business unit what we can do, which type of startup, which type of innovation they are ready to take, probably in demonstration. So for doing this, we have some implementation, some guys looking for startups. We are one part of the team based in San Francisco, in the Silicon Valley, and we are looking all the USA and Canada and all the America, in fact, looking for startups. When one team in France, in Château, it's not far from Paris, more well-known, and one team in London looking for UK, and one team in Peking looking for Asia. And all these guys, they are looking about 400, 500 startups each year, and then we are trying to qualify, to understand what is the innovation, what is the structure of the startup. And since many years, we have more than 1,000 startups analyzed. And at the end of the detection, qualification, discussion with the business unit, because we have a lot of committee permitting this discussion between one subject of innovation and one business unit. And there you can imagine the discussion. And it's not, we have to convince the business unit in order to say, yes, this innovation you can try to work with. And you know that the big groups, and it's the same for every type of big group, not only utilities, you know that it's every time very difficult for big entities to work with a very small entity. So we have to try to facilitate the type of contracts, cooperation, and everything in terms of jurists, in terms of purchase direction, and everything in order to make possible this relation. Last year, we have about 30 cooperation between business unit and between startups, and we try to go further on to go to the objective of 40 cooperation in 2015. But you imagine the level of detection, the level of qualification, the level of convincing with the business unit, and after only 30 demonstrations, which is not so bad, in fact. And what we are doing in this sourcing, well, we have to find really all over the world the startups to understand the new technology and the innovation and the possibility of solving one of the problems we are meeting. And in such a big company like EDF, we have a lot of jobs, we have a lot of activities, and there is a lot of possibilities. And after, as I said, I was speaking about convincing. We say promote and support, because convincing it's something like a fight, and there is no fight in a big company between our team and the business unit, but sometimes we can think. One example, it's Qualisteo. I will not speak a lot from Qualisteo, because I see the clock is going very quick. Qualisteo, it's a small startup in the south of France, in région Provence-Alpes-Côte d'Azur. And it's giving a solution quite interesting in order to authorize disaggregation for commercial activities with only one point of measurement, very simple to install, and giving a very high accurate identification of the different use in the commercial activities. So it's quite a simple solution, quite precise, and as you see probably, yes, you see it's very long. Detection, 2012, test in Provence-Alpes-Côte d'Azur, 2013, 2014, test on 5 buildings with Chamber of Commerce in Provence-Alpes-Côte d'Azur. In April 2014, we are doing a collaboration, and we will offer services with this startups in order to offer new services in the framework of efficiency, of better use of the electricities. So 4 years, and we know that for a startup it's something very long. 15 seconds. So what I want to say, what we have done more than 2,000 startups in the 4 last year, 30 experiments last year, and more than 60 since the beginning of the Open Innovation team. Philippe spoke about 7 investments of Electranova. We are doing some internal action too, and it's quite difficult, but it's not for you, but it's for us, trying to train the people to innovation, trying to input the innovation methodology. And what we have to do, I think really we try more, we must go quicker, and I think we have to facilitate more the relation between big utilities and small startups, and we have to do a lot of things in our purchase direction, in our jurist direction, in our business unit in order to facilitate this and to work better with you. Thanks.
This process of bringing in Qualisteo, it took a couple of years. Are you always that fast, or can it sometimes take less time?
No. It's running. It's okay. It's a good example. I have bad example too.
Yeah, But you do thorough work, right? And the testing, and it's a really a long process. You want to learn that it's running reliably before you roll it out to a large customer base, right?
Yeah, but sometimes it could go quicker, much quicker, because what we try to do is to align the time schedule of startups, which it's in weeks or in months, with a schedule of utilities, which is in years. So part of our business is to try to align the two.
And do you want briefly to summarize EDF Pulse? Because now, after you, we have 3 startups that you found via your own award that you organize, right? Yeah. EDF, do you want to?
So EDF organized since 2014. I'm looking for the EDF communication woman with it there. So we launched EDF Pulse, which is an international beauty contest, I would say, working on smart living, science, health too, and we try to promote that. All the business units, the R&D, are very much involved in trying to have selection on that. We want to involve the public also, because at the end of the story, the public votes and will tell who are the winners. So we intend to put more and more, I would say, visibility on that EDF Pulse approach, because we think it's part of open innovation and what we can do for startups and for EDF.
And you have the award ceremony in early June in the Palais de Tokyo.
Yeah.
And I plan to be there.
Yeah, you should.
In the audience. Just watching, no moderation.
Be careful, you may be invited to go on stage. Be careful.
And, okay. And Sunfire is doing quite well in this award. And it's not only people in the jury, and they are not only EDF people. You have some external judges too, right?
Yeah, I have to say it cost Electranova a lot of money. In terms of, no, it's a joke. Sunfire was completely embedded in the process. They decided to try to see if they could be or win the award. They are now in final, and the final vote is on internet, so you can go on edfpulse.com. Am I right? And you can vote. You have 3 different juries: science. Please vote Sunfire. You have health, and you have smart living. And anyway, but all the finalists are very good companies.
Yeah, yeah.
All the finalists are already good companies. The votes are closed. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Too late.
The voting is closed. I voted online. I voted for Sunfire, but psh.
I think it gives a very good visibility to the finalists.
Yeah, they get a big campaign, right? Yes. A marketing campaign in outdoor advertising, TV advertising even.
Yeah, but it's a long story. There is a full process selecting more than 100 companies. We had more than 200 files selecting the first 100 companies. 100 of these companies have access to, let's say, some kind of visibility on the website. And then there is a selection process, and the finalists are they have a full support on many different things to help them grow.
And a couple of months ago, we had the idea to bring a couple of the startups who made it to the final onto the stage. Shall we listen to them now?
Let's go.
Okay, thank you very much. I need your clicker. Okay, thank you. EDF.